Republicans are rightly panicking. And I'm not talking about the people running for president. I'm not even necessarily talking about those running for re-election in the Senate. I'm talking about primarily members of the House of Representatives. And the reason that Republicans are panicking is many of them are realizing, the people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't even know that they think about this. And I don't even know that it matters based on who votes for Marjorie Taylor Greene. But the Republicans who think about, oh, I need to justify my reelection. I'm not just entitled to be here indefinitely just because I want to be. They're realizing they have zero accomplishments to run on. They have nothing to show for themselves, not just for 2 years, but really for 4 years at this point in time, almost 4 years. There's an interesting article in NBC News. It's embarrassing. Republicans worry they have no achievements to run on in 2024. You might remember, and this article references it, Chip Roy has openly questioned whether the Republican Party deserves to keep the House majority, lamenting the lack of accomplishments this Congress. He is not alone. It's a short article. I encourage you to check it out. It essentially is explaining that all sorts of Republicans are realizing they don't really have anything to run on. When he was on Newsmax, Andy Biggs said, we have nothing. In my opinion, we have nothing to go out there and campaign on. It's embarrassing. Anchor Chris Salcedo responded with a bemused chuckle. I know. The Republican Party in the Congress majority has zero accomplishments. And there's a whole bunch of other examples of this. There's a couple different aspects to this that are important to talk about. First of all, we should recall that there is a sliver of the Republican Party. It's not tiny. I don't know that I should call it a sliver. It's a chunk of the Republican Party that believes Congress should do less. They believe lawmakers should do less. They believe that we need a government that does very little as a general principle. And so for some of them, nothing being done is a good thing. When you ask them, what about the fact that Republicans have accomplished nothing and have obstructed and stood in the way of Democrats doing things? They say, I think that's great. Congress does too much. We really should do as little as possible, especially when it's Democrats trying to do things. So there are some Republicans who will not punish their elected officials for this complete and total lack of accomplishment. The other side to this is that there are a number of Republican voters. We don't know what the size is, and maybe we will get polling that will explain this to us as we get closer to November. There's a faction of the Republican Party that isn't thrilled with when you say to them, what are you aware of Republicans doing over the last couple of years? They won't have any policy that they can point to, but they will think of, well, they worked to get those pictures of Hunter Biden's penis released. They tried to make a list of books that shouldn't be allowed. The contrived social issues. Some of the faction that they looked at impeaching Joe Biden or whatever. Some of them will say, I like those things that they did. That's faction number two. So you've got those who say it's great that they've done nothing. Those who say they've done these contrived social things, but I like them. And then there's a faction that will say they've done these contrived social things and I don't like it. If that third section is big enough, well, they expelled George Santos and did nothing else. And I think it's absolutely idiotic. It may very well hurt them in November. Now, I know that every time we talk about what November is looking like, and we're going to look at a little polling later on today, some in the audience will write to me. They'll say, David, the polling just looks terrible. I do agree that some of the polling for Joe Biden doesn't look good, although some actually looks quite good. For me, the most important 30,000 foot level kind of zoom out things are economy's pretty good and presidents tend to get reelected when that's the case. 80% of the country seems unwilling to vote for Trump if he's been convicted. That's a major factor. And there are apparently enough Republicans displeased with the total lack of actual accomplishments that it may be what tips the scales in November away from whoever is the Republican nominee as well. On some of these things, the stonewalling of legislation or kicking George Santos out or looking at holding Biden accountable for crimes they have no evidence of. I think that people are titillated by that. The question is it enough people that it would actually get them their person in the Oval Office in November? I'm hoping the answer is no, and I'm increasingly leaning towards it's not going to be enough to defeat Biden. And I know that there are people in the audience very scared, and I see the same polling you see, but it's not looking to me like this is an election year in which Republicans are going to be excited about coming out to vote for the guy that already lost in 2020 and vote for the representatives that have accomplished nothing in the last 2 to 4 years. I just don't see that happening. I could be wrong. We have 10 months to go, and then we will see.